Identity theft is a concern we all face now, even when it comes to real estate. In this week's Realty Rant, Edie Wesley of ID Shield joins Vince Arcuri of Cooperative Real Estate to tell us how we can protect ourselves. Welcome, you guys. I mean, this is a serious concern right now.
Serious concern. It's very serious. I almost had to protect myself this morning. I normally bring Peggy, your front receptionist, a French curl from Dunkin' Donuts. I forgot this morning, and I almost didn't make it on set.
You know, you got to protect yourself in different ways, Vince.
I needed legal shield protection from her this morning, but I made it through. I fought my way through,
okay,
so
well,
here we are.
I'm not going to bring up the fact that I don't know how we've gotten donuts a few times from you. I'm getting a little jealous.
Yeah, I do. I always do. But y'all always have a great food segment, and I never get a chance to. You never get a chance to sample them. You have something better.
Well, the one thing I will say, we seem like we're always like tiptoeing around ID. I think it's come up in almost every segment we have done, and now we've brought Edie, who can really help us out so that we're not victims.
Absolutely. And you know, I just wanted to talk to her about how it's affecting people nationally, so because I think it's an epidemic proportion. I know we in the real estate industry are definitely feeling it. It's a surprise, and I think most people are shocked at how often it comes into play. So how often is it coming into play?
Well, when we talk about how often, I've been talking for the better part of the last year to hundreds of people a month about identity theft at 25,000 people a day. The real number is closer to 33,000 people per day.
Wow.
And you know, we don't say that to alarm. This is a very current and real issue that people need to be aware of. You know, it's a matter of when it happens to you at this point, not if it's going to happen to you.
And you know, I've heard different ways to protect yourself, and you and I were even talking about some companies and some things to look into. What can people do if they're like, oh, knock on wood, I'm lucky, it hasn't happened to me? What do people need to do?
Well, there's many things that need to be done. A lot of times people have credit monitoring. The bottom line is that's just not enough. Okay. And even less than that have some type of identity theft monitoring. And what's happening out there is we have a lot of companies now that are on the scene because in an environment of fear, they see that there's a buck to be made and they're offering a product that just doesn't cover, but people think they're covered and they're truly not. And so what people need to have is complete credit monitoring, identity theft monitoring, and then here's the crucial part that a lot of people don't realize is you need a service that has 100% restoration in place. And that doesn't mean assistance when something happens to you so that you can fix it,
right,
or reimbursement for the time and energy you take to fix it, but restoration, a company that comes in and does 100% of the cleanup, everything from finding out how it happened to filing the police report to returning your credit back to its original condition before it happened.
Restoration, that's the key. Okay, so there's three components of that. Just trying to get it for myself as I'm thinking here. And Vince, I mean, in real estate, if you have a red flag go up that your ID was stolen, I mean, that can really mess up an entire transaction.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're disputing anything on your credit report, it just halts the transaction in general. You're not going to get your mortgage. So, you know, being preemptive and being proactive, watching and monitoring and having a service like ID Shield to protect you, and it's very inexpensive. I have it myself. It's just a product that I've got myself. I know me and Victoria advocate it to our clients in the office because it is like that is your footprint on society. Your credit report is your footprint to everything, and it is really vital that you really protect that.
And it seems like, you know, we've talked in other segments about people worrying about their ID being stolen during the transaction process and the sending of, you know, personal information. So this has got to help that whole process.
Absolutely.
Yes. You know, I can tell you we're seeing everything in the world of identity theft, from basic credit fraud to full-blown identity theft and everything in between. So we see government identity theft, synthetic, where somebody's using your, you know, date of birth and social security number to create a whole nother identity, medical ID fraud, that type of stuff. We're also seeing criminal identity theft. You know, how about if you get pulled over to find someone's got a warrant out for your arrest that you didn't know existed? But since we're talking about real estate, I work with a lot of people in the real estate and mortgage and financial industry, and people work really hard to get their credit where they need it, to get the house that they really want at the best rate that they can get it. And it's a terrible thing when they show up to find out that things are on there that they had no idea existed, and it can affect you greatly in that area. So.
Wow. Any other tips just to move forward?
Well, I mean, I just think that, you know, her information's on the screen. I mean, I definitely think that you should, it's protection for your whole family. It's very inexpensive. And I think if you don't have this protection, you find that it can be very, very expensive if you don't have it.
Well, we don't want to find out. But again, thank you for your tips as always. And for more information, all you have to do is call Cooperative Real Estate at 813-909-0999 or log on to realtyrant.com. I think I got all those nines in there. Thanks again, Vince, for your time.